Well, good morning, everyone. Today is Tuesday, June 24th, 2025. We're here this morning for the Administrative Matters meeting. I call this meeting to order, and we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome. I'm Kristen Stevens, Chair of the Board of County Commissioners. With me are my fellow commissioners, Commissioner Jody Shattuck McNally and Commissioner John Kafalis. From the clerk's office, we have Deirdre O'Neill with us, helping take the minutes. We have our county manager with us, Lorenda Volker, and Sarah Martin from the commissioner's office. And we will begin, as we always do, with public comment. And we have one person signed up, that's Cindy Buckhart. Cindy, I think you know the drill. You'll have 3 minutes, and please introduce yourself.
Cindy Buckhart, President of the Larimer County 4-H Foundation. You all know why I'm here today. After my comments last week about not receiving any documents regarding the Larimer County 4-H Foundation and the violations that have been claimed by Larimer County, an email was received from Lori Cadrich, Larimer County Assistant Manager. Ms. Cadrich submitted a few of the email conversations that have taken place since 2021. However, I'm presenting you with the missing emails. The Foundation has requested the documentation of any violations. No violations have been submitted, as there are none. The Foundation has never committed any violations. Have there been many conversations? Absolutely. Does the Foundation agree with the no bake sale or prepackaged food? It does not, but that does not mean any violations have occurred. 2019 Carnival occurred as it had for the previous 60 years. 2020 Carnival occurred as it had for the previous 61 years. 2021 no Carnival, COVID. 2022 Carnival occurred as it had for the previous years, no restrictions per Diana Frick. 2023 Carnival occurred as it had for the previous years, no restrictions per Connor McGrath. 2024 Carnival occurred, no bake sale, and all food at the 4-H Club Carnival booth was prepackaged as directed by the ranch. 2025 Carnival occurred, no bake sale, and all food at the 4-H Club Carnival booth was prepackaged, and even the cakewalk had Hostess products as prizes. Commissioner Kafalis was even present at the carnival. What is concerning to the Foundation is a comment from Connor McGrath, where he states very clearly in 2024 that the ranch's goal is to become self-sustainable by 2030, and I quote, "The ranch has engaged in a practice with the 4-H Foundation that aligns differently from different current organizational self-sustainable goals. The activity relates to the 4-H Foundation Carnival in the FNBO commercial space," end quote. In other words, the Foundation's annual carnival needs to be removed as it is not bringing in any funds. The next step by Mr. McGrath was to state that the Foundation is not 4-H and must pay for the use of the ranch facilities. Mr. McGrath even offers to find another location for the carnival. It is not until December 26, 60 days before the carnival, is the Foundation informed that they are back being accepted as 4-H, so the carnival can proceed without cost. I hope you will take the time to review the documentation that the Foundation has put together, which shows that there is not and never has been any violations by the Larimer County 4-H Foundation, and that the Foundation be reinstated to full usage of the ranch facilities immediately. Lori Cadrich's email was a personal attack on myself and has no bearing regarding the Foundation and the issues at hand. The comments included about no response to an email, my personal situation with Larimer County 4-H, and the usage of such strong words as threats about public outreach and escalating public advocacy are very inappropriate. As a citizen, I have every right to go to the media. Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy. There's no one else here to give public comment. So, Sarah, was there anyone who wanted to call in for public comment?
No, Commissioner.
Okay, then we'll close public comment now. Bring it back to the commissioners. Would anybody like to respond to the public comment? Go ahead, Commissioner Kafalis, if you'd like to.
No, I don't have anything to add that I haven't already said over the last year, 6 months. Just thank you for your presence and being part of our community.
Thank you. So we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, which is approval of the minutes. And Commissioner Shattuck McNally, I'll ask you to make that motion.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the minutes for the week of June 16th, 2025.
Thank you. There's a motion on the table. Any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that motion passes. Sarah, we're going to kick things over to you for the schedule review.
This is the Commissioner's schedule for June 30th through July 4th, 2025. On Monday, June 30th, from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m., there will be the Environmental Stewardship Awards ceremony in the hearing room on the first floor. From 1:30 p.m. to 2:30 p.m., there will be a work session with Leslie Ellis, Director of Community Planning, Infrastructure, and Resources in the Commissioner's Conference Room on the second floor. On Tuesday, July 1st, from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., there will be Administrative Matters meeting in the hearing room on the first floor. From 1:30 p.m. to 3 p.m., there will be Administrative Direction of County Management in the Sprague-Lit Conference Room on the second floor. On Wednesday, July 2nd, from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m., Commissioner Stevens may participate in the virtual US 34 Coalition meeting. On Thursday, July 3rd, there will be an open schedule. On Friday, July 4th, Larimer County offices will be closed due to the 4th of July holiday. And from 8 a.m. to 10:30 a.m., Commissioners may attend the Loveland Fire Rescue Authority 4th of July Pancake Breakfast at First Station 10 at 4301 Ronald Reagan Boulevard in Johnstown. And from 10:30 a.m. to 1 p.m., Commissioners may attend the Lower Poudre Canyon Association Community Center Grand Opening at 10234 Cove 14 Bellevue.
Thank you, Sarah. Any corrections or additions to the calendar? No, I think we're good. Thank you. All right. Moving on, we'll go to the consent agenda. Next item on the agenda, and it's a fairly short this week. We have one agreement, which is an amendment letter to the second amended and restated hotel ground lease, which was dated October of 2007. And this is a lease amendment with Embassy Suites to install 4 electric vehicle charging stations at the Hilton Loveland Hotel Conference Center. We have 4 appointments. We have a recommended reappointment to the Open Lands Advisory Board for Mike Carter and Ward Nelson, and those will be full terms that will end June 30th, 2028. We have a recommended midterm appointment to the Open Lands Advisory Board for Mike Raconti, and his term will end June 30th, 2027. There was a previous appointment that was listed on the schedule for Jeremy Cooper, but he has decided to join another board, so we will not be appointing him to the Open Lands Advisory Board. We have a third recommended appointment to the Planning Commission for Connor Duffy, and a recommended appointment to the Planning Commission for Zachary Sullivan. Under miscellaneous items, we have a request for approval to enter upon lands to do weed mitigation. We have one resolution which approves the Northern Colorado Water Principles. So this is a resolution supporting retention of water for local use by discouraging the transfer of water to entities within the Denver metropolitan area and efforts to seek appropriate mitigation to offset impacts to affected communities where water must be transferred. So this is done in conjunction with the Northern Colorado Water Alliance, which is made up of several municipalities and water providers throughout Larimer and Weld County. And we have agreed on these principles, mainly that we would like water to stay in our basin as much as possible. And then the final item on the agenda, consent agenda, is a human resources policy for benefits, which revises some sick leave and medical leave of absence items. That is all for the consent agenda. Would either commissioner want to remove something from the consent agenda? No?
No, just you removed that name, so that's all I had to remove. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Wonderful. Then Commissioner Kafalis, I'll ask you to make the motion for that.
I would be delighted. I move to approve the consent agenda for June 24th, 2025.
Thank you. There's a motion on the table. Any further discussion on these items? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes 3-0. We don't have anyone in the audience this morning, so I'm assuming we have no commissioners' guests.
No, Madam Chair, next week I will have a guest that is coming, so thank you.
Okay, well, we'll look forward to that. Thank you. And we have no discussion items on the agenda. And we're just running right through this agenda. How about county manager update? I bet we have one of those.
We do, but it's also going to be very brief. I wanted to make known to the public that the master plan newsletter, update newsletter, is now available in both English and Spanish. If you're interested in receiving that, go to the ranch website, click to the master plan information, and scroll down to how can I be involved, and then you can enroll there to get updates on the master plan newsletter, either in English or in Spanish, or both, if that's the preference. Just that update for today. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, that's great news. I think people will be excited to see what's happening at the ranch. So encourage folks to sign up for that newsletter. So we'll move on to commissioner activity reports. Commissioner Shattuck McNally will let you get started.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This might be one of our record meetings this morning. I just wanted to just share a few brief things. It was a very busy week, and we had lots of things happening. I was very excited to go last Tuesday to join the City of Fort Collins and others for the Juneteenth celebration. They had a kind of a gathering of staff and stuff in the lobby outside the chambers before the proclamation. They have some very interesting videos kind of sharing the history of some folks who moved here from other areas, and one of them actually moved here after buying their freedom from being a slave, and so they moved, and how they got here to Fort Collins and started a business, and so it was very interesting, and I appreciate the City of Fort Collins inviting us and having those conversations with a lot of folks from the community who were thrilled to see all of us together that day. We had our big Thompson watershed health partnership meeting. There's a lot of talks about strengths and weaknesses from all the groups across the region who are doing wildfire mitigation and watershed protection. It was a really interesting and fascinating conversation about what's going well. And there's some things that I'm really excited about with some bills that we had worked on as a Forest Health Council that were killed in the last day or two before the session a couple of years ago, and it's great to see our community picking up and trying to find a way to get some of these projects done anyway, and so I want to just thank them for their work, and it's very exciting. I met with some folks from Estes Park about some of the behavioral health activities and the re-engagement of a committee up there that tries to meet once a month, including some folks from our behavioral health services to look how they can all partner and share information. I had our National Association of Counties Environment, Energy, and Land Use subcommittee as we're getting ready to approve resolutions. A few more resolutions have been added. A lot of it I just want to highlight again, really looking to push that we try and protect local governments having to deal with removal of forever chemicals in water, PFAS, and really put the recovery and costs back onto the folks who polluted in the first place, and not leave that for the taxpayers. And so we're really pushing that still going forward. There was a joint meeting the first time in over a year, with the new forest supervisor Chris Stubbs with the North Front Range Recreational Sports Shooting Management Partnership, and Michelle Bird was also with me, and she's going to be bringing some of that information and sharing with us, because there are some updates, and I will share with my colleagues later about those updates as we get them kind of the notes and stuff gathered and share with that. It was great to be celebrating Juneteenth, and I did join some other activities on actual Juneteenth. It was fun to be around with that. I almost melted on Friday night, but not quite. I went to Loveland's Pride outside. That was, I think, a really record-breaking heat day that day. It was in Mahaffey Park. It was well attended. It was just lots and lots of people and lots of booths and entertainment, and a lot of folks just celebrating in the park on a afternoon in Loveland, in West Loveland. So I was excited for that. Thanks to all who organized that and supported the community to come together. As you all my colleagues were all at the Poudre Fire Station open house. That was really exciting. Beautiful station. It's on Ready Mix donated the land. It's right there off of the
County Road 54G going through LaPorte. Appreciate the fire chief and the fire boards and their warm welcome. It was exciting to celebrate with them all. And then Commissioner Stevens and I went to the World Refugee celebration and downtown Fort Collins, and we got to make some wonderful little crafts to kind of share with some of their traditions and some of the ethnic food that they shared. We talked, I think, to 3 different families who had just fled Ukraine from the conflicts, and some came with families. Their homes are a mile from the latest bombings and things in Kyiv, and so hearing their stories, but also hearing their joy of being welcomed so warmly here in Fort Collins, and also the jobs and the opportunities and how they want to help others. It's really heartening. And then I went to the Fort Collins Juneteenth, talked with a lot of community partners, celebrated some of the music, and it was really well done. I'm glad they gave everybody a chance to be inside and to escape the heat a little bit. There was a lot of people there, and it was all day celebration the day before, and I just wanted to say well done. And it's just cool to see all the celebrations this month going on throughout the community, and everyone's really enjoying coming together. That's all I have. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Kafalas.
I'll be brief. 3 of the events mentioned I also attended. For the record, the proclamation at the City of Fort Collins for Juneteenth and transportation equity, the Church World Service, World Refugee Day, cultural event celebration, and of course the open house, which was also great. The other 2 events I'll mention, I did attend the Veterans Together meeting on Wednesday at 4 to 5, and it was a good discussion. One thing to note, especially for our scheduler, is the meetings are going to move to quarterly, and the next one is scheduled for September 17th, 4 to 5. And then finally, one of my roles at the state level is to serve on the Implementation Advisory Committee for the Intensive Behavioral Health Services. We had a 2-hour meeting, public stakeholder, to review it's about a 128-page document, draft implementation plan. This is to put in place by the first phase by July 1 of services for children and youth within the Medicaid system that have complex and high acuity, medically necessary behavioral health needs. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'll be brief since I attended all those same events on Saturday. I won't go through those, but did want to say on Thursday we conducted interviews for the the North Front Range Metropolitan Planning Organization. Folks might know that our executive director has left and moved, and so we are looking for a new executive director. We had several great applications for that position and great interviews. So we'll look to be doing the in-person interviews in a couple weeks and hopefully get somebody on board for this really important position, really important for regional transportation connectivity. Then the only other thing I'll mention with regard to the North Front Range Metropolitan Planning Organization is yesterday there was a meeting for the 10-year prioritization list. I know Commissioner Shattuck McNally was on for a bit. I was on at the end of the meeting, and we have decided as a organization to prioritize corridors instead of projects. We felt that was a way to really highlight the fact that the MPO deals with interconnectivity between both Larimer and Weld, and regional cooperation with regard to transportation. So it looks like we will be prioritizing US 34, 392, I-25, 287, 14, and US 85 is the roughly the order that we'll prioritize those particular corridors. We know those corridors are, except for US 85, those are corridors that span both Larimer and Weld County, and so I think that there were some good outcomes It doesn't preclude the fact that we can work on other safety projects and other transportation projects throughout the region. These are just corridors that will be prioritized for some of the strategic dollars that'll come through CDOT. So I think ultimately a good outcome for that meeting, and we will put that in place at the next MPO meeting. But they're again working regionally on these projects. US 34 definitely needs some work. It has no transit on 34. It has a lot of safety issues, and fixing that corridor is of utmost importance. So I think that's it for me. So that was a quick meeting, and we have no legal matters to discuss this morning, and so maybe not a record, but at 9:21 we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.